Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Maple Grove Scripture Reading Podcast. So last time we were together, we were in chapter 40. We started it going through the first 14 verses, and that's where God's first speech ends. And Job responded for the first time since chapter 31, and it was just 7 words. He says, I put my hand over my mouth. And then God started in again with the same call to brace yourself like a man, and he went straight to probably what was the sharpest charge that he'd made yet. He said, you've been condemning me in order to justify yourself. And he brought this challenge, and he says, if you want to govern this world's justice, go ahead. Adorn yourself with glory, crush the wicked, bring low every proud person. And if you can do all that, then maybe your right hand can save you. And the answer, as Job well knew, was no, I wouldn't be able to do that. Well, today we're going to be in chapter 40, verses 15 through 44. So we're going to continue in chapter 40. And God introduces a creature called Behemoth. Let me read through it. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thigh are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron. It ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their produce, and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies, hidden among the reeds in the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure, though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose? So most people who travel to Africa for the first time, they think about maybe going to see lions on a safari or something. And lions are real, right? But the animal responsible for more human deaths in Africa each year than almost anything else is the hippopotamus. They can weigh up to 9,000 pounds. On land, over short distances, they can run faster than most people. In the water, they're completely at home. And they move faster than anybody else can swim. They're territorial, they're aggressive when they're threatened, and they spend most of their time just resting in rivers and under plants on the bank, and they look totally peaceful. Like you could watch a hippo floating with its eyes just above the surface and think, that is a large, slow, and harmless animal, but that would be a mistake because the calm is real. Nothing in that animal's environment threatens it, but that's not the same as harmless. Nothing threatens it because nothing in the world can. Now, some scholars read Behemoth as a hippopotamus or something very like it, because I'm not sure that you could look at a hippopotamus's tail and say that it is like a cedar. But anyway, regardless, it's a massive grass-eating animal that lives near the water, lies under riverbank plants, can't be controlled by any person. And the first thing God says about it is this. He says, look at Behemoth, which I made along with you. Along with you. God made Job. God made this creature. Both of them are created things. Job's been pressing his case for 37 chapters as though there's some kind of rough equality between his view of things and God's view, as if God owes him an accounting because the situation looks unjust from where Job stands. And God keeps pulling back. He did it with the sea and the stars, with the animals in chapters 38 and 39. And now he says, well, look at this thing. You and it are in the same category. I created both of you. It's not a put down. It's just a description of what Job is. He is a creature, and the behemoth is a creature. And whatever separates them, they at least share that they are created. The same God who formed Job formed this animal. God's authority over both of them is that same kind of authority, the authority of the Creator over everything he's made. Now, Job has been approaching this situation like he can evaluate God's governance from a position outside of it. And God keeps placing him back inside it, back into the creation, back into the category of things that were made rather than the things that do the making. Well, then comes the description. What strength it has in its loin, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron. So you got bronze bones, iron limbs, muscles that drive the whole machine. This is not a gentle creature. God built something here that is extraordinary in raw physical power. And he describes it in the language of metal and construction. It's not soft. It's not delicate, but there's tubes and rods. And then he says this, it ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. So you got two things at once here. First, this creature leads the category. It ranks first. It's not a marginal creature that gets squeezed into the edge of the list. God's own masterpiece among living things. The prime example of what raw creaturely strength looks like. And second, only its maker can approach it. There's nobody else. No hunter in Job's world has a strategy for this animal. It can't be lured, it can't be tamed, domesticated, or brought into human service. The wild ox, back in chapter 39, at least prompted the question of whether it would consent. Behemoth isn't even in that conversation. It is simply not available for human use. The creature that ranks first among all God's works is completely outside Job's reach. But God can approach it with his sword. Now, whatever that means concretely, the point is clear. God made it and God holds it. There's no contest, no negotiation. It is his. And then the picture shifts and it goes a little quiet. The hills bring it their produce and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies, hidden among the reeds of the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars by the stream surround it. So this most powerful land creature in its world is lying under the shade of lotus plants and surrounded by reeds. The hills bring it food. The wild animals aren't fleeing from it. They're just playing nearby. The landscape is at ease around this animal. So God built enormous strength into this creature, but he also built peace into the way that it lives. Those two things go together because God manages both of them. The creature doesn't fight for its position in the world. It doesn't really need to. Its place is already secured by the one who made it. The food comes, the shade is there, it rests. It's something in that image that speaks directly to what Job has been experiencing. Job spent those 30-some-odd chapters fighting for his place, making his case, demanding that his standing before God be acknowledged. And God is showing him the animal that does none of that. It just lies down in the marsh. The world arranges itself around it because its maker is running the world. And then you have the river. He says a raging river does not alarm it. It is secure, though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. Now, the Jordan, when it was flooding, is a serious real-world threat, especially in that culture. A river in flood could wipe out crops, animals, buildings, one of the most overwhelming forces that anybody in the region would encounter. And Behemoth doesn't even notice it. The river surges against its very mouth, and the animal is secure. Job has described his own suffering in flood language. The situation has overwhelmed him. He can't find his footing. He's been swept by something he can't control and can't explain. And God is pointing to a creature that lives in the surge. What knocks Job flat is where Behemoth rests. Not a comparison designed to shame Job. It's a comparison designed to point to the one who governs the water. The Jordan doesn't alarm Behemoth, not because Behemoth is governing it, but because God does. The creature is secure because its maker is the one holding the river. And then we get the closing question. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose? No. That is the answer, and God already knows that. You can't lure it with bait. You can't snare it. You can't wring its nose and lead it like cattle. The strategies that work on the other powerful animals in the world, they don't apply here. Behemoth cannot be brought under human management by any method. God made it that way on purpose. He built an animal and kept it entirely to himself. Job has been insisting that God's governance should answer to human standards of justice, that there is a way to measure what God is doing and find it wanting. And God has been walking him through creation for 2.5 chapters. You can't feed the lion. The mountain goat gives birth on cliffs that you've never seen. The wild donkey laughs at your civilization. The wild ox won't consent. The war horse charges toward that thing that makes you want to run. The eagle sees from heights that you can't reach, and you cannot touch Behemoth, the creature that no person can approach, that the Jordan itself can't disturb. The God himself describes as first among all his works. Its maker holds it. Job can't get close. The God Job has been questioning, the God he's been demanding an accounting from, the God his arguments have effectively put on trial for 37 chapters, that God approaches Behemoth the way a person reaches for something in their own hand. There's no struggle. There's no negotiation. It's with complete authority. Job can't do that. That gap is the whole point. It's not to crush Job, but it's to show him the actual scale of the God he's dealing with. And next time, we're going to move into chapter 41, and we're going to have another beast. This time, it's Leviathan. And what we've seen here gets considerably larger. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. God bless.